What up, geeks? This is Rasco here, and today I'm going to be talking about The Flash Season 2, Episode 20, and the title of this episode is Rupture. So, where do we begin with this episode? I guess just to kind of recap the past few weeks of Flash, I don't think they've been very good. It feels like the show kind of took a turn, and then has no idea where it's going now. So, I'm really kind of worried about how the season's going to turn out, but let's get into this episode. So Rupture. This episode, it had a lot of things that kind of felt unconnected by the end. So we get a little bit of Cisco and his brother, and that's kind of interesting, but Cisco's brother as a character, I just don't like. I mean, the only thing we've ever seen of him is him being obnoxious and kind of a jerk, and now we see him being obnoxious and kind of a jerk, but then at the end of the episode, there's kind of like a little bit of a family theme, and Cisco and his brother look like they could have a better relationship moving forward. The problem is that feels like that was supposed to stretch the whole episode, and then the ending of the episode actually has nothing to do with that. So pretty much we open with Barry, and they've kind of devised this way for Barry to kind of like have a hologram of the Flash, and he can kind of stop crime, but he can't interact with objects, he can't go in buildings, I guess, or something like that. It was something like that. He's really limited in what he can do, and they're doing this just to give the illusion that Flash is still alive. And I actually really thought that was pretty cool. I don't really know how the technology works, but there's a lot of technology that you don't really understand how it works in this show. So I'm gonna give it a pass on that. But when we get Rupture, he was like just evil. I mean, you killed my brother, Cisco. I'm coming after you. I'm gonna kill you. That was pretty much what this episode was, villain-wise. Zoom is not making any sense still. So we have this scenario where Zoom has Caitlin in the police station, and he comes in, and Caitlin has, she did something. She like tipped off, like where Rupture was or something. I forget what exactly she did, but she did something to kind of sabotage Zoom's plan. And it was one of those things where Zoom is now walking in on Caitlin, and he's like, "Oh, you betrayed me, you foiled my plan." It's like, Zoom, she has never been on your side this entire time. If anything, the only thing she has said is that you are a monster, and she has shown how much she doesn't like you. It doesn't really make sense for Zoom to be going around and complaining and saying all of these things like, "Oh, you betrayed me." He has no reason to think she's on his side. He should have expected her to betray him. I don't know. Doesn't really seem to make much sense. But other than that, Zoom makes even less sense because I don't understand why Zoom has left anybody alive. I don't know why he leaves Joe alive when they're at Jitters, and he goes in and he kills pretty much every cop in the room, but Joe. Okay. Why not? So that doesn't make any sense. I don't understand. At the ending of this episode, he walks in on them trying to recreate the effects of the particle accelerator to give Barry back his speed. The only issue with that is that right there he sees, oh wow, they're all trying to stop me. Bye-bye. And he leaves. Like, why doesn't he just kill them all? I mean, if he's trying to like take over this world, and he already took over Earth 2, why does he not just, well, what is the value of any of those people to him? I just don't understand. It's one of those cases where it's like, if I ask the writers, like, why didn't he kill him here? Why didn't he kill Joe here? Why didn't he kill Wells here? Like, there's so many scenarios where, like, Zoom should have just killed people, but he doesn't kill people, but he's completely capable of killing people, and it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Also, this is kind of a cool thing. So we're actually already, looks like we're going to get Wally as Kid Flash and Jesse Quick. That's pretty interesting. If anything, I kind of like where we left off this episode. So with Barry gone, I think that it might be cool if we don't get Barry back for like the rest of the season. I think it could be awesome if almost the rest of the season is just Jesse Quick and Wally becoming speedsters. But I doubt the show would do that. I think that's kind of too risky, and I think a lot of people would be like, what the heck? But obviously Barry's coming back. I think that's safe to assume. That whole scene at the ending with the particle accelerator, that was well handled, and I liked how we had this kind of triad argument going on between Joe West, Barry's father, and Dr. Wells, because I think season 1 of Flash as a whole, it was very much Barry, and he gets all of these different father figures. So we have Barry and we have his real father. We have Barry and we have Joe. We have Barry and he meets Wells, and we have Barry and Oliver. It's all about, Flash has always kind of been about Barry's relationships with all of these different father figures in his life. So finally getting Wells, Barry's dad, and Joe together on screen and having them kind of have this like argument about what's best for Barry, that was pretty interesting. And I actually really like that. I would like to see more of that moving forward. I think that there's potential for next week's episode to kind of be, I don't know, somewhat entertaining. It's kind of hard to make sense of anything that they've done with Zoom. I don't know if they're going to be able to fix that by the ending of the season, but we can at least maybe have a good episode. I don't know. So overall, I don't really have much else to say about this episode. I don't think there was a whole lot to talk about, but I want to know what you guys thought, so leave it down in the comments below, and I'll catch you next week on the next one of these. Peace out, geeks.